So yeah, people, I already believed my friend Karen was telling the truth when she emailed me and was horrified to, to be hearing what what I thought that she was saying about, this was a couple months ago, whenever, about me and Selena, etc., just the horrible things she was saying to me, under her avatar of Karen. Easy enough to fake, but then the person had to have hacked her into her account, and the reason we know that is because when I tried to email her, it came to the same address she had written to me, okay? She writes to me saying X, Y, and Z, I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened, I must have been hacked, blah, blah, whatever, and then I go to email her back to that address, and it was as who I thought was her had said, you can't, don't even try to email me, I've blocked you. And I was blocked. So she definitely was hacked, okay? Definitely was hacked. But I happened to just, like I said, I was going into my read later YouTube comments, which is what I do with all the ones that come into my Hotmail. I stick them in the read later folder if I don't feel like opening them and I want to get rid of them because I get overwhelmed, especially, everybody, all our emails fill up really fast with tons of shit, and you want to find the stuff that's really important to you. And I don't have to read YouTube comments in my Hotmail, you understand? I don't have to. I read them on my YouTube page that has the remove or new for review, whatever those things are that have the new comments coming up, whether you approve them or not, etc. Okay. But I was suspicious about Sweet Pug Mama because Sweet Pug Mama's comments sounded like, one of my enemies trying to pretend to be someone new. Okay, not succeeding very well. Okay, but I went to that read later YouTube thing and, decided to open up some of them and stick them in their own folders. And I found the ones that I had thought were from Karen. They were fake Karen comments, okay? And I noticed that now that comment, right, instead of having the Karen avatar, it had the same friggin' avatar as Sweet Pug Mama now had, okay? So these people, my enemies, whatever they do, they do all kinds of shit that I don't understand. I think people even access private videos. I think they do. I think they access private videos because my video that where I was doing with Omar, Trot to Boston, Trot to Lynn, was on private. Yet I got a comment from Stoney that showed up in my Hotmail. I read it in my Hotmail, but when I saw his name on that approval thing, I don't even read the comment, I just see Stoney and then delete, okay? But I read it in my Hotmail, and it was Lynn, City of Sin, you don't come out the way you went in. And then I did too many videos and I hadn't read them yet, and I hadn't listened to them yet on Dance Speed. And I did that last night, and I'm like, wait a minute, this one's been on private. How did Stoney comment on my private video? So I don't know, but these YouTube people do weird shit. They do advanced shit that I don't know, and I'm not that advanced. I don't understand. All I know is I was on to Sweet Pug Mama, but I had no proof, I stumbled across proof by accident, but the proof that I stumbled upon proves beyond any shadow of any doubt, like even if Selena was suspicious, Selena and I have never discussed it because I can be friends with who I want, but maybe Selena never really believed that Karen was sincere, that she'd been hacked and it wasn't her saying all these horrible things to me and Selena. But I got proof. Selena's not going to care. It wasn't her friend, but I did get proof because I found those old derogatory towards me comments where they were calling us, who I thought was Karen was calling me and Selena cunts and said or whatever, okay? And it had that Sweet Pug Mama avatar, the pug, but then when I clicked on it, okay, it had Karen and that Sweet Pug, so it no longer had her avatar, it had Karen. And had the Sweet Pug Mama avatar, right? Even though it said Karen. It still says Karen, but the avatar's changed. And then I clicked on it, and lo and behold, I reached Sweet Pug Mama from that derogatory towards me comment that had been posted, that was from a couple of months ago. So people do weird things with their channel, I guess. I didn't think you can go around changing the name. I thought it has to be a whole new channel. I thought you have to close out your Google account, open it up, and then it's new, and then you shouldn't be able to... I didn't think you could change your name, but I clicked on that avatar that said Karen, that had the derogatory towards me comment that I thought was from my longtime friend Karen a couple months ago, and it brought me to Sweet Pug Mama. So it confirmed... But I already had instant proof in my head anyway because it couldn't be a coincidence. There's no fucking way. There's no way this new Sweet Pug Mama says new to my channel and has the same avatar as the Karen comment. You get it? And the Karen comment had changed from the old avatar that made me think it was really from Karen because it was the identical avatar. So was her account hacked? It had to have been hacked. Had to have been hacked. Because, again, I was blocked just like the fake, my enemy pretending to be Karen had said I was blocked. And that would be an impossibility. Karen hadn't blocked me. She didn't understand what was going on. She writes to me hoping I'll write her back and don't hate her. And I try to write her back and I get proof on delivery status notification undeliverable, so. And yet... even if that was hacked, the Gmail was hacked, it couldn't have been coming from, those comments couldn't have been coming from her account because the account still exists and she closed down everything. She closed her YouTube, her Google, everything. The account still exists. I have those old comments saved and the avatar has changed from the little flower avatar that was Karen with that comment, okay? Because the comments, even if they disappear on your channel, they don't disappear from your Hotmail, yet they are still linked. You get it? So that comment itself I would never find on my YouTube channel. That comment's been gone. My enemy disappeared to delete the comment. But if I click that avatar shows up, and then I click on it, and it brings me to Sweet Pug Mama, which gives me my proof of what I was suspicious of anyway, from the moment I, supposedly new to my channel, nurse, bullshit. It's bullshit. My enemy trying to trick me, and didn't work. Thankfully so. But that fascinates me. That's like Karen knows she was hacked, okay? Because later, I don't think she was actually hacked. When she came out as you-know-who, and then was under you-know-who, was writing derogatory things towards me, I don't think her account was actually hacked. I think somebody just made their own you-know-who account. Apparently, you can make as many Google accounts as you want, and I get that. What I don't get is how Karen, if this person was actually in Karen's account, and when that person who's my enemy wrote those horrible things to me that I was foolish enough to think were from Karen, but then I was in shock and I found out they were never from Karen, okay? But that account is still there. In my Hotmail, I can click on that now it's changed from the flower to the Sweet Pug Mama thing. I clicked on it and it said, count Sweet Pug Mama. It doesn't make sense. Which means it couldn't have ever been from, Karen's account. And yet we know it was from Karen's account because we know that her Gmail was hacked. Because we couldn't figure out, they either made a new account with the Karen icon, easy enough to do, just copy her avatar. You know, it's not a picture of real life person like mine is me and Omar. It's just a flower. It's just whatever. So could steal that, copy that, and then had Karen come out, she could have made her own comments under her app thing, but she wasn't going to do that because the minute she realized she was hacked, she canceled everything. But the person had to have made those comments actually from his own account because the account still exists. It's attached to the comment because they don't disappear from my Hotmail. So like Stoney, once Stoney got rid of Colin, who was one of his fake people, okay? All those comments disappeared. He didn't go and delete them. He got rid of Colin. All those comments disappeared. They're still in my Hotmail, but where the Colin picture used to be, it just says blank. So there's no, if I clicked on that, it would probably say account deleted or whatever. But I did the Karen thing from those old comments that I could prove that I have, really derogatory towards me, towards Selena, my friend, whatever. And only because Selena was sticking up for me, so then she got attacked by supposed Karen too, and it wasn't even ever Karen. I click on that because I still have the comments, and it brought me to Sweet Pug Mama. So my enemy was stupid. He used the same damn avatar, and I found him out. But it didn't sound like someone new to my person anyway. It sounded like and neither does Ryan. Not in some of the comments. But Ryan's insisting he's Ryan, and if my buddy Ryan has disappeared, then whatever. Or it could really be Ryan. But whatever, it doesn't matter, because I don't trust anyone anymore. Thanks to all this shit that my enemies got out of their way to do, I just don't trust anybody. But I did sleuth work, and I had my suspicions about Sweet Pug Mama, and then I got proof. But in the end, like Karen and I were discussing for a long time, you know, after we realized she was hacked, we have emails back and forth. We don't know how they did it. We don't know if they actually posted comments from Karen's account or just copied her avatar, stole her avatar. What she said was like she was upset about that too, because it's like a personal avatar to her, even though it wasn't a real person, right? It was personal, and they took it. So it had to have been that. It had to have been that they simply opened up a new account and used her avatar and stole it, and never posted comments from her actual YouTube account. But they did hack into her Gmail. So you'd think if they were going to hack into her Gmail that they would just post comments directly from her account. I don't know why they wouldn't have done that if they're going to hack into her Gmail that was associated with the YouTube account, and they had to have. They had to have. She got rid of all of that, by the way, and apparently, according to her, she never used it for anything except YouTube and just emailing me, and that was it. But then I was like, well, wouldn't that mean that they accessed all my emails back and forth all these years with you? And she's like, no, I delete emails. I'm like, oh, okay, good. I don't know. All I know is I just got instant proof. Instant proof when I saw the Sweet Pug Mama avatar, right? But then also... instant proof because I clicked on the derogatory towards me the really cruel comments from that I had thought were from my friend Karen, and it brought up that Sweet Pug Mama account. Biggest day. Sweet Pug Mama. There's my instant proof. I don't know if that's my mom calling, the case manager calling. I don't know how early she comes in. I wouldn't think she comes in this early. Could be Selena. I don't know. I accidentally took home that, remember I told you I got the permission to get the belongings sheet as long as my mom requested it, and I specifically remember giving, and I had papers with me. I brought papers with me to that hospital that I carried. They had to hold my bag and stuff because it had stuff I wasn't allowed to have, and because I was traveling, but I carried the papers just in case I had to wait around to talk to upper management. And I brought papers like I had professional typed papers from other hospitals. I found my mom's discharge papers from that hospital where it has, our new goal. She will use the handicap because she fell in the shower and hit her head. She must learn to stand up slowly, shit like that. But I brought that stuff with me in case I got to have it had important stuff on it, and in case I got to have a meeting with the case manager and doctor, which I didn't get to do, and I brought it with me. And I remember specifically handing back that belonging sheet, the first one they do when my mom first went in the hospital a few weeks ago, and saying to the woman, I said, I need to give this back to you. She's missing, and I kind of mumbled it, but I'm like, she's missing a lot more than you guys said she was missing, but a lot less than she'd led me to believe she was missing. I remember specifically doing that. I know that I did it. So does that mean I handed her, because she's not going to think I'm handing her something different. She probably didn't even look at it and put it in my mom's file. What did I hand her? I specifically remember handing her something, and yet I came home and I was in shock because I had the belongings list. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? How do I have this? Shit. And I was going to go and visit my mom, but now I find out she's being discharged, so I left messages. And I apologized. I'm like, I'm sorry, because it kept cutting me off. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I need to know, do you need this? Is it imperative? I will walk, and I don't have fax machine, but I'll walk and fax it if you really, really need it. Please let me know. Please let me know if there's been a change of plans. Please let me know what time you discharged. My mom said she doesn't have keys, all this shit. I believe I accidentally took home that belongings list, but I remember specifically giving it to that woman. I must have given her something else, and whatever something else I gave her, if it was typed, I didn't know everything I brought. I was finding stuff from other hospitals that my mom, they always have discharge papers, treatment plans, things like that. And they say important shit that I thought if I had time to kill, I could. The first time I visited my mom, she wanted to know what had happened, why she, came home and then 2 days later wound up in another hospital, and I gave her the history of how I wrote it down for her. So I brought stuff with me, and if I handed them something in place of that belonging sheet, which I specifically remember doing, I want that back. They could send it home with my mom, mail it to me, I don't know. But I need to know if it's imperative that they have that belonging sheet, if they really, really need it. If it's just like, I'll fucking walk and give it to them. I left a message on my phone. If I don't answer this phone, hi, this is Laura. If I don't answer this, I am either sleeping or in the shower. So please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm able to. Basically, I'm going to let that play. I don't really even want to talk to that case manager. I mean, she blew me off. I left messages for her all week, and she did not call me back and tell me how my mom was doing. And then suddenly, she wasn't even going to call me yesterday. It was I would have already left. Do you understand? I would have already left. left her getting ready to leave, and she didn't even call me. Maybe because she didn't care. She figured I'd just show up there anyway, and then she could tell me I'm discharging Mom tomorrow. But I didn't feel well. I was tired, and and then when I found out my mom's being discharged, why should I go there? It's it's silly. I would have gone there and brought my mom clothes and whatever for nothing. And then I would have said I didn't. Then I would have been like, if you were going to discharge her tomorrow, why didn't you call me? Oh, and I would have got excuse, just like we get excuse about. I was just listening to my mom's messages where she's specifically saying that her pants were stolen. Yet I get from upper management, oh, nobody steals anything in that unit. Your mom just gave her pants away, gave her jeans away, and she's just too embarrassed to tell you. Bullshit. Bullshit. She's insisting that you guys are intentionally lying and that you're full of shit, and I believe her, not you. Oh. Really early. Don't create a case that you can send that roll. Maybe she does. Oh, it wasn't even my phone, it was my mom's phone. Yeah, it's my stupid friend called early in the morning. Yep, that took care of that. It wasn't even my phone. Definitely wasn't the friggin'. It wasn't the case manager. It's too early in the morning. I'm just trying to make myself sleepy. I told you I don't get any sleep. Just trying to make myself sleep. Hi, Mr. Nope. My mom's friend, the one I can't stand, instantly started calling. I remember my mom had said she was getting out yesterday, I don't know. She knew I was coming to visit her, but that never means that she's getting out. I don't have control to just walk in there and walk out with her despite her delusions. I recognize the phone number. Alright, I just shut it off. I wasn't sure about the ring. The phone, the tone, whatever, if that was coming from my phone or my mom's. Not that we have identical ringers, but I don't, I'm not even awake. I'm like, I still have to do last minute cleaning. I started what I do every season here in Massachusetts for my mom, switch the clothes around, so put all her sweaters at the very beginning of the closet when you walk into her bedroom, and the summer stuff now is at the way end, out of reach. That way what she's going to be wearing is the most easily accessible to her. Clothes. Makes sense, right? Been doing that for her for years. All my stuff in the living room I've got to put in here. And I'm going to put it in the closet, but for now, as soon as I'm up for the day and I don't have to worry about home, I'm just going to throw all those boxes in here quickly. I have to empty the dishwasher and load it back up. Basically, the house is clean. I just have to do last minute stuff. So I'm hoping they discharge her later rather than earlier, but who knows what they'll decide. They're sending her on public transportation, you know, or their own. I don't know if these places have, if they call cabs and pay for it and get vouchers, if they have their own trips. I don't know how that works. All I know is that if Auntie can't pick my mama up, and I don't have a car, so, you know, sometimes Auntie can pick my mama up, sometimes she can't. It just depends. Then they, just like last time, I had to go pick my mama up, and my mama sent home, no, public transportation. And the instant she walked in the door, I knew it was going to be bad. The instant she walked in the door. And I'm wondering if she gets out today, if it's just going to be a complete, like, deja vu. Last time Selena had said to me, you should put cameras in that house. You know, just to, it give me proof of what goes on here, you know, that my mom, what she does, and that I don't do anything to provoke her or whatnot. Obviously, I'm not going to put in cameras. Buy one of those nanny cams. I've caught so many people. My news, channel Fox News, I watched it at 1, but it was the 10 o'clock news repeated, but it had, about superbugs. They're a real problem. These bacteria are just, it's like our wits against their genes, and they are so good at becoming resistant to our antibiotics. There are superbugs that are not treatable by any antibiotics, and people that they give the 3 top ones, one of them's nightmare because, like, most people who come down with it die. It's not treatable. It's a super resistant bacteria that's deadly. And they say that doctors have to stop using antibiotics as the first line of defense. I know. My mom it's determined that my mom, not the last time, the time before, has a urine infection, right? And she was already on antibiotics because of finding out that she had the pneumonia or whatever, but then that was going to end finally, and then it's determined that she has a urine infection, but she had no symptoms, and she's like, how do we know they didn't like contaminate the thing or something? And then last time I was in there, and I stayed with my mom because I need to talk to the people who are going to send her off, and need to tell them, you know, that she keeps going to these hospitals, and that she's got here 2 days after being sent home after 3 weeks in the other hospital. They sent her home in a horrible condition. Everybody who met with her, you know, friends, whatever, me, and we all realized it instantly. It was sickening what the hospital did, and I want to spread the news, you know, badmouth them. She also came home without a bra. It's ridiculous in and of itself. Don't know who took her good bra and her pink socks she loved. Someone probably took them, bullied her, who knows? She's mentally ill, someone did it, who knows? You're never going to know because she wasn't able to tell me. They took it, who? They took, you know, oh my God. Oh God. It's ridiculous. Did you tell staff? The same thing as this hospital. Did you tell staff that they took your bra? They don't, you know, yeah, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care what these mental ill people, they just pretend they don't care. They know that their patients are delusional or not mentally balanced and they might have given clothes away or whatever, but just come on without a bra, it's just, oh my God. And it's supposedly a good hospital, it's just sickening, sickening. But yeah, the last time when she, you know, my mom, they needed to get in the regular hospital urine, right? So they had my mom we went in there, they had to go in the bedpan, and then she's pouring, the woman was pouring the pee into the thing. But the top to the urine thing, right, I saw her lay down, put it on the toilet. And I said something, you know, people hate when you say anything to them, these professionals, they all hate it. You point out shit, they don't like it. I said, you just put that down on the toilet, couldn't that possibly contaminate the urine, you know, because I'm thinking I don't want my mom to have another urine infection and doesn't show any symptoms, but then she gets antibiotics for 10 whole days, you know? God, that's why they're having the resistant to everything and bacteria, because vets and doctors just prescribe antibiotics just automatically, you know? And she goes, oh, the top didn't, the part that goes inside that touches the urine didn't touch the toilet. And I'm thinking, yeah, it did. I saw it. You know, you're lying. You're doing this, but if it's so important that this urine be pure and that you don't, and then I was paranoid. I'm like, please don't I mean, my mom's, these antibiotics wreak havoc on your immune system, people. They wreak havoc. They kill the good bacteria. While they're trying to kill the bad, they kill the good, and they wreak havoc on your immune system. And, you know, and I didn't want, my mom is so frail anyway, and all these psych meds that kills your immune, to have another urine infection, especially when I watched the woman stick the thing on the toilet. Fortunately, she didn't have the urine infection, but you know what I mean? Things like that can be contaminated. And the last time when she had it, she said she has no symptoms. And they're like, well, tests don't lie. And I'm thinking, yeah, tests don't lie, but there could be mistakes. Just like you're falsely diagnosed with a mammogram and you're falsely diagnosed to have breast cancer when you don't. There could be all kinds of mistakes. Or in this case, sticking that's supposed to be completely sanitary, completely pure. And I've watched her stick the thing on the toilet, telling me, oh, that top part didn't touch the toilet. I'm like, I'm all upset. This happened to my mom again, but I looked and I'm pretty damn certain that they did touch the toilet, and she just didn't like me to call her out on it. But then my mom shows up with something, and, you know, if it's something that comes from the toilet, and you're going to think she has another fucking infection. You know, it's just, ugh. And it is not a joke, people, about these. My news had it. Fox News yesterday had it. These bacteria are just completely resistant to any antibiotics. They're superbugs. And that is scary shit. And one of them is called Nightmare. And they said, because half the people who get this die from it. And it's untreatable. And then a couple of them are virtually untreatable. They're just nothing's working anymore. These bacteria can wipe us out. I remember that asshole guy I stayed with when my family fucked me over here in 2009. I lived on the streets for 6 weeks, and I stayed platonically with this guy, but he was telling me how he had come down with this stuff, and he's like, and he almost died, and he's like, we think we're so powerful as human beings, and this little microscopic thing can kill us, just like that, can wipe us out. that was the first night I stayed with him, and he, at that point I thought he was going to be a cool guy, interesting to talk to and whatnot. And before I stayed with him, other homeless people had vouched for him that he was cool and that he helps out homeless people and that he wouldn't hurt me or whatnot. I didn't just go stay with a total stranger. I got some verification that he was okay. Not that that's ever a guarantee, but you know what? I was in a state of whatever. Of course, I at least have my little delusional Chad Kruger fantasy to cling to. I was going through absolute hell. That's why I said it helped keep me alive, you know. My delusion that when the time was right, he was going to come. Oh, God. That's just so sad. It's so pathetic. But it's the truth. Remember, the fantasy began in LA, but then I came and visited my mom, and the fantasy continued here. It was a doozy. But I snapped out of it. I escaped it. You know, it took a long time, but... And the thing is, I can say with just near certainty that something like that won't ever happen again. I'm a completely different person. I can look back and understand why it happened, but I can say it was near certainty that it won't happen again. I know it won't. Nothing will happen like that again. It's too bad it happened to begin with. Open. See through the disguise what you open. Turn to your pack. Talk to the music. And they're singing like on a music, just like something like disturbs open your eyes and the words or whatever, and it's saying, telling you to do this or be, yeah, I can't, won't, it's too late for me, etc., etc. I say all that kind of shit to the songs. And things that these rock stars, musicians, whatever, the famous, you know, I call the elite, although the real elite are the shadow government and the globalists, all the secret people that are the true elite, or whatever. The rich and famous are the next rung down in the ladder. Anyway, they when something songs resonates with me, whatever, and I talk back to it. See through the disguise once you open your eyes. I don't have that one. I might get it. I have the light. I have... What else do I have from Disturbed? I don't know. It's not, the light's not the only one I have. I might get Open Your Eyes. Alright, I'm going to take a nap. I will let you know if Mom comes home or not, or if there's a That's the last hospital and the case manager, when they were supposed to send her home and then didn't that first time. There's been a little snafu. Not sending him home. Why? Even though I had grave reservations about her being sent home, there's nothing I could do, you know. Like, why don't you send her home? And then she did come home a week and a half later, and it's still nothing had changed. It was worse than soon. Probably because she had gotten that shot again. But no one's going to listen to me. All these psychiatrists, if the patient's not getting better, they're not on enough. It can never, ever, ever be that they're on too much. But anyway, they're snafu. Why? Because we went to go tell her she was going home and she was crying and this, that, or whatever, so we're keeping her. And they kept her another week and a half. These hospitals can always keep her. They got the good backup insurance, so, you know, it didn't matter if my mom's Medicare days ran out. She had the backup insurance. It's the good stuff that, you know, all along pays what Medicare doesn't pay, and then what we didn't know, it kicks in 100% when the patient runs out of the Medicare days. So it's a good, damn good thing that years ago, when I wasn't even here, Auntie, you know, had my mom get that. Because Auntie saw the future where my mom can wind up in, she knows she can wind up in the mental hospitals, and Medicare is only covering 80%. You know, the 20% is going to come to thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars, you know, so it's wise to get the friggin' MedX insurance. Wise. Everybody should do it. I open up all my mom's bills, and I open up things, you know, that's what I do. I have right to do that. When she's in the hospital, I pay the bills, and so I open up her mail, and there's things like what you have, you know, what might not be the right thing for you, and there's cheaper insurances you can have that just cover this, that, or whatever. And my mom got the highest run thing, the highest thing, you know, long before I was ever here. And Auntie had her do that. It's a wise thing to do. You can predict the future. When I was winding up in mental hospitals, it's highly unlikely that that's going to stop anytime soon, and she stays for weeks, and the bills are like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. You know? That's why you get the fucking insurance that covers 20%. But what we didn't know is when it runs out, it covers full. No one knew that. Remember when I was blindsided, I told you it was all bullshit. I had to be the collapse to the floor and was all upset and hyperventilating and said whatever, and for months didn't know the truth because I was told one thing and it wasn't even the truth. Ridiculous. TTFN, peeps. I hope I can fall asleep, but I'm not counting on it. And yes, I weighed myself. My weight's as high as ever. Just wanted to see. It's staying around the same. Told you it was 182, but if I have my period or if I'm bloated, whatever, it could be a little higher. It's just... I started taking the baseline nutritionals. I've been taking that for over a week now, every day. I missed one day. Woman's formula. All these herbs are supposed to balance hormones and whatnot. I don't know.